Well, I'll tell you one thing. If Jennifer Love Hewitt was a mint, she definitely would not be a fisherman's friend. I'm sorry. That was awful. Probably the worst open I've ever had. Anyway, we're doing I Know What You Did Last Summer, the original 97 version. I know they're making a remake or whatever. Obviously, this is not that. But, yeah. Here we go. So, spoiler alerts, if you haven't seen this movie that's like, from the 90s, then you might want to not watch this. You have been warned. So, we'll get into it right away. Bonus points for starting off this film with a typo negative song. That's pretty cool. You got their cover of Summer Breeze playing as they pan over the coastline of whatever place they are. I don't know what state they're in. I'm assuming it's like Maine or something. Because it's like a small, like a fishing town or whatever. So anyway, we have this dude sitting up on a cliff or whatever, and he's playing with some kind of trinket. And then it cuts to this festival. They're doing a 4th of July thing. I probably should have done this for the 4th of July, actually. Ah, well, too late. So they're having a 4th of July celebration or whatever, and we're introduced to our 4 main characters. So we have our beauty pageant contestant, Helen Shivers, played by the lovely Sarah Michelle Gellar, also known as Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We have Julie, who is played by Jennifer Love Hewitt, and we have Freddie Prinze Jr. also, and Ryan Phillippe as well. So the boyfriends, essentially. We have Barry, and we have whatchamacallit, Ray. Yes. Yeah, so they're cheering on Helen. She's doing her little pageant thing, her beauty queen spiel in her swimsuit and all that, and lo and behold, she wins, gets a little crown, everyone's a little happy. They decide to celebrate by having a little bonfire on the beach in a more secluded area, which is chill. Definitely enjoy the beach bonfires. But anyway, they're telling urban legend stories, and they're arguing over the famous one of like there's multiple versions. There's one with like a hook was left on the door, and then there's another one where there's blood dripping on the roof and the guy was hanging from above, and then there's another one where his head was on the antenna and hitting the window or something, and there's like a whole bunch of different things. They're arguing about that, and Ray is like, no, it's the hook hand. That's the original story. And he's going on about how these American urban legends are all based on an actual story. So like he's convinced it's legit, and they're all like, okay. And I mean, it's kind of coincidental that they do that. Well, I won't get into that right now. Anyway. I mean, you obviously know what the killer is in this movie. So, I mean, I guess I'm not spoiling anything. And I give a spoiler warning anyway, so whatever. Anyway, fast forward. They're drinking and partying, and, Julie and Ray are partners, obviously. And they essentially are going to be putting it on hold for now because she's going off to go to school, and so are same thing with Helen and Barry or whatever, but I guess we're not focused on them at the moment, so whatever. So they, have their little chat, their heart to heart, and they end up banging on the beach. Good times, right? And then they leave. Drunk driving. Good job, guys. Excellent job. We got Barry jumping out of the roof, going, woo! Typical teenage stuff with the beer bottle, drinking as they're driving. Being an idiot, essentially. He drops his drink all over and spills in the interior of the car. Spills all over Ray, who I believe is sober. But whatever. Anyway, all of a sudden, boom, they hit something. Oh, shit. What was that? And they run out and look at the car, and Barry's freaking out. Like, that's his car. Ray's driving because he's sober-ish, I think. I assume that's what it was. But, like, his car is totaled. So he's livid. They think, oh shit, did we like hit a deer or something? Like that's, that's not a raccoon or something, the dent on the side of it or whatever. And then Julie finds a boot with blood all over it. Oh shit. And even more fun, Barry's got blood all over him, but it's not his. It's obviously whatever they hit. Lo and behold, they hit some person. So that's fun. They're like, oh shit, where's the body? And then they go find it, and Jennifer Love Hewitt screams for the first time out of like 1900 times that she screams in this movie. So if she's not a scream queen at this point, even if there were no other I Know What You Did Last Summer movies and she never was in another horror movie again, the amount she screams in this film, she should automatically become a scream queen. So just saying. But yeah, they find the body and they're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And they're arguing over what should we do. Should we call the cops? Should we dump the body somewhere? Like, no, we can't. If we call the cops, like, Julie's going for like a law career and that's going to be all thrown into garbage. And same with Helen, and everyone's shit is like not going to be good with a manslaughter charge, obviously. We got Buddy's car, and if they confess, it'll be even worse because it'll be drunk driving. And since alcohol is spilled all over Ray, there's no way to really prove that he wasn't drinking. I mean, a breathalyzer, right? But you still have open liquor in the vehicle, so it's like an open and shut case, essentially, at that point. So despite many protests from Julie, they decide, well, no, we're going to dispose of the body. So they start dragging him to the overhang when they hear a vehicle approaching. And lo and behold, it's Julie's friend Max. So I forgot to mention earlier in the movie, Max has like a thing for Julie, and despite her dating Ray clearly, I guess he shot his shot and he got shot down. Anyway, whatever, there's no big deal. Anyway, he pulls around just as the other three are dragging the body over to the railing on the side of the road to dispose of it. And quick thinking, Barry starts making heaving noises like he's vomiting. And Max is like, hello, what brings you here? Anyway, she brushes it off, I guess, because he's got the hots for her, so he's going to be like, whatever, dreamy. Anyway, looks and sees the car and is like, oh boy. And she's like, yeah, drunk driving, yeah. You know, like, not a big deal, just drunk driving, even though that's like a big deal. But anyway, regardless, they get away with it, essentially. The body's on the other side of the railing. He doesn't see it. He drives off. They throw him in the trunk or whatever and drag him down to the docks. Or there's like a pier or something, and they're going to go throw him over the pier. They bring him to the edge, and they're like, well, what do we do? Like, we just kick him over, and they're arguing of who's going to do it. And Helen's just like, for fuck's sake, I'll just do it. And she goes to shove the body down. And then the guy's eyes open, and he grabs Helen, and they kick him off the dock. I guess they're scared shitless, even though, like, the dude's alive. You know, whatever. But they push him in the water, and he's got Helen's crown or whatever. And I don't know if he grabbed what's his nuts or not. What the hell's his name? Barry, but Barry's in the water, and he ends up grabbing the crown, and the guy's eyes are open, and he's underwater, and basically he's gonna drown at this point, but they don't care. They're scared shitless, and they take off. Obviously, Julie's the voice of reason throughout all of this. She's like, he's gonna drown. They're like, it doesn't matter. Like, he was what, I don't know. Anyway, they agree. They make a pact to not talk about it ever again. Essentially, right then and there. Julie nods. Not good enough for Barry, who like choke slams her against the car, and finally she's like, okay, I agree, like, calm the fuck down. Good job, Ray, for not really, you know, pulling him off of her or anything, but whatever. I guess he got what he wanted. No, I'm kidding, he's not an asshole. He's okay. Anyway, cut to a year later. We got Julie in school. She's her roommate comes in, and they're talking about her going back for the summer to go visit her family and go back to her hometown and whatnot. So there you go. That's how we get her into the hometown for, I guess, you know, 4th of July. It's the summer, right? So there's going to be a duplicate of that. It's the first time that she's been back in town since that happened. Anyway, she gets home and she's kind of quiet, and the mom right away is like, are you on drugs? She's like, no, Mom, I'm not. I've just had a rough year. And apparently this like grade A student who loves her family, whatever, has been getting warnings about her school. I don't know if it's like attendance or just like poor tests or whatever, and hasn't been checking in with home, so that's why the mom is all concerned. Anyway, she brushes off as, yeah, I just had a really rough year. Meanwhile, she's torn up about what happened last summer, right? Which we know what she did last summer. Haha, see? Anyway, getting to that, her mom gives her a letter, says, this came to the mail for you. There's no return address on it. She opens it up. It's just a piece of paper, and all it says is, I know what you did last summer on it. She's like, oh, fuck. So right away, she rushes to Helen's old workplace, and her sister owns the store or whatever. Elsa is her name. And she's like, Elsa, do you have Helen's New York number? I need to get in contact with her. And she's like, where the hell have you been? She doesn't live in New York. She's literally right over there. And lo and behold, there she is. Anyway, they catch up over this lovely thing of somebody knowing that they killed someone. So that's fun. Right away, they're like, frick. Well, guess we got to tell Barry too, eh? He's not going to take it very well. Which they go and do. They head over to Barry's, and he's like, what the fuck are you guys doing here? Or something. So obviously, Helen and Barry broke up. He's kind of a complete asshole for the most part in this movie. He kind of redeems himself later, but he's just a dick to everyone. So anyway, they get the letter, and he right away assumes that it's that Max guy, the one that was flirting or whatever. He's like, did you guys tell Ray? And Julie says, no, Ray, apparently he's working up north. We broke up, and then he went up north to go work. And it's like, okay, well, fair enough. There's good money up north, so good on you. You know, nothing holding you back anymore, buddy. Anyway. So, again, assumes it's Max. Heads on down to the whatever fish. Everything's a fish place in this. So, I mean, the fish place could be any of these 37 fish businesses they have in the area. But anyway, that's where Max works. So they head down to Max's work, and Barry approaches him, and obviously there's no friendship between these two. He's like, Barry, a piece of shit. Wondered when you know, I can't remember what he says, but anyway. He pulls him off to the side and roughs him up and saying, listen, don't, I know it was you, blah, 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 etc. And Barry's like, Max's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, don't play stupid, fucking throws him into ice, etc. Storms out. The two girls are like, what happened? He's like, he won't be bugging you anymore. What did you do? I scared the shit out of him. Okay. And as they're walking back, I guess, to the car or whatever, lo and behold, there's Ray on a fishing boat. Guess what? He's a fisherman now. Hooray! So he didn't work up north, unless north is just, a couple kilometers north of the Bay Area. So he's a fisherman. He's taken after his dad, apparently. Barry obviously wants nothing to do with any of these people anymore. Again, I don't know why he's such an asshole. But I guess whatever, killing someone ruined their friendship. I mean, I could see that, so whatever. He frigs off, and then Helen is like, all right, I'll let you guys catch up. And she's like, oh, okay. That's the first time they've seen each other since breaking up and him going up north, right? So they talk, and I don't know. They don't say why they broke up, essentially, but I mean, I assume it's for school and whatever. And he's like, I know you blame me. She's like, I don't blame you, but I also don't want to be your friend. And then she, turns and walks off and then runs off, and it's like, okay, cool. Whatever. Anyway, we go back to Max at his workplace. He's boiling crabs or whatever the shit he does over there in his fucking fish factory plant place, whatever it is. It's a restaurant. I don't know what it is, but he's boiling crabs. And fisherman gets him. Puts a hook right through his jaw. Good times. Drags him across the boiling pots, and so Max is toast. Good times. Meanwhile, he is also following Helen afterwards into her house. Which is, it's actually a pretty creepy scene. You're expecting oh god, well, she's toast or her family's dead or something like that, but lo and behold, he sneaks into her closet, watches her get undressed and put her nightie on. I mean, okay, a little creepy, but whatever. And as Helen wakes up the next morning, she realizes she's wearing her crown from a year before from the pageant, the night that they killed that person. And she's like, what the hell? And then she grabs it and then pulls her hand away and her hair's in there. Someone cut all her hair up. So obviously the fisherman dude that snuck into her closet waited till she fell asleep and then cut her hair. And she screams. So there you go. SMG's hair is all messed up and her crown's on, and then we get another scene of Barry and he's working out or training or something, and he's in the locker room and someone's in there and fucking around with him, and there's a little Polaroid in there, a picture of his car from that night, and on the back it says, I know. And he's like, oh, that's not cool. So clearly it's not Max, because Max wouldn't have the balls to do that. They don't know he's dead at this point. Anyway, we get a call from... Julie gets a call from Helen, who's obviously freaked out about what just happened this morning, waking up like that. So Julie rushes over, and as she stops, she pulls up, and she hears weird noises in the back of her car, and she's looking, and there's nothing in the back seat. She stops, she pulls over to Helen's house, gets up, pops the trunk. Lo and behold, we got David's corpse in the trunk with a shitload of crabs crawling all over him. So she obviously screams and freaks out and almost gets hit by a car. Runs into the house. Barry's in there with Helen, so I guess he got there first. And they all go down, and they open the trunk, and lo and behold, no Max, no crabs. So that's not very fun. So Barry obviously is like, are you fucked in the head? Like, there's nothing in there. But I guess because all the shit's been happening to everyone, he assumes that it's legit, I guess. I don't know. So right away he's like, well, who's a fisherman? Yeah, our buddy Ray. So there you go. There's our culprit. I mean, okay. So they go over to Ray's, and Ray comes out, and Barry does what he does and punches him right in the head, and the girls try to pull him off, and he's like, what the hell, dude? And they tell him they say, you're the fucking fisherman, basically. Well, they don't. Barry does. He's like, no, I'm not. I got a letter too, or whatever. And it's like, okay, so you got a letter. I got a Polaroid in my freaking locker room. She's got a dead body with crabs in her trunk, and Helen just got all her hair chopped off. You got off pretty good, bud. So I guess he's still skeptical. Anyway, eventually they come to the conclusion that it's not him. Research is done by Julie throughout the movie, trying to find out, who they actually hit, who ends up being this guy named David Egan, who, it's kind of I don't know what the story is, but his girlfriend died or something, and I don't know. Something like that. Oh my god. I probably should have paid attention more, but anyway. It's to do with his girlfriend dying, and he's been miserable, and I guess he goes up there and to mourn her or something, and they hit him when he was coming down, or for whatever it is. That's what they come to the conclusion of. So they're like, okay, so he's the one that they killed, so it's probably a family member that is fucking with us, right? So they do some research, and Julie and Helen decide to go down to the parents' house of this David Egan guy. Turns out the parents are dead. We got the sister there, so they knock on the door, no one answers. They go around the side, and Julie goes to climb up to a window to look in, and Helen's like, okay, what are you doing? Because that's what I would say in real life, so at least they addressed that. And then we got what's her name, Missy is the sister, and she comes around, she's like, can I help you? And quick thinking, yeah, our car died down the road, can we use your phone or something? 1997, I guess not everyone had cell phones back then, so that's actually a legit thing. Nowadays, you can't use that excuse, so if they follow plot line for plot line, I wonder how they're going to address that in the reboot that they're going to be doing. But anyway, they probably just won't even do that, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So she goes in, and they end up mentioning the brother. They're like, they casually bring it up, well, as casually as you can, I guess, to get the movie to progress. Like, so you live alone? Yeah, whatever. And they look, and there's a picture, and it's like, oh, who's this? That's my brother. He died, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Or my parents are dead. I'm the only one who lives here. So right away, they're like, okay, you're clearly probably the person. So they get out of there quickly. And they go to the car, and they start it up. And she runs over to the car and is like, you forgot your cigarettes? Oh, I see you got your car started. They're like, yep. And they drive off as she's still leaning on the window. It's like, all right. Anyway, pretty sus, right? All around. But for both sides, honestly. So they go back, and then more research and stuff happens. They find out more about this family. But anyway, it comes to the point where it's going to be the 4th of July again, and Helen, as the outgoing queen of whatever, queen of the fish market or whatever she is, she has to be at the parade and pass down her baton or whatever it is to the next upcoming beauty queen or whatever it is. So that's going to be happening. She goes there, and obviously Barry and her are, like, have reconciled a little bit, because obviously shit's gotten a little bit real, so he's eased up on everyone a little bit, and he's going to be there to protect her. He's on the float with her in the parade, and during the pageant itself, he's up in the rafters. He's like, listen, I'm going to be watching from, like, up there, making sure nobody messes with you. This woman is saying, like, something that was absolutely awful. Even Helen's like, oh my god. And she looks up and to make like a what a horrible song type, can you believe this shit face to Barry, but instead she sees, as the light moves, the fisherman right behind him kills Barry right in front of her up in the rafters. She screams, whole pageant stops. She's panicking, and some useless fucking cop, by the way. Like, this is a movie that you want a useless cop. Here's one right there. He takes her upstairs, looks around for like 3 seconds, sees nothing, and says, it's probably your friend just playing a prank. And she's like, no, literally, like, he got hooked. Like, I saw him get killed. Whatever, I'll drive you home. I don't know, man. Like, he literally walked up there and looked like this and said, I don't see anything. And there's, like, crates and shit everywhere. Like, he could easily drug a body somewhere. Didn't even go to the area that's looking down. I don't know. Useless cop. But, whatever. That's dealt with eventually as he's driving her home. There's a roadblock. He's like, we'll have to take the alley. And there's a truck with the hood up, and the cop stops. He's like, okay, I'll be right back. Obviously, you know where this is going, right? Because you got to kill a cop in every movie that's like this. You know, the character thinks they're safe. They're with a cop. No matter how useless he is, he's got a gun and everything, right? So, you know, whatever. He even says, like, listen, I'll talk to the parents, and if he didn't come home, we're going to put out a missing persons report, blah, 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 blah. She's like, all right. I literally saw it, but whatever. And he even makes some comment about, like, oh, yeah, he killed him with a hook, eh? Oh, yeah, okay. Is that the same thing he used to cut your hair? And she's like, no, that was scissors. Like, what a fucking asshole thing to say. And he's laughing about it, like, okay. Anyway, I hate the cop. So this cop is a piece. And when he gets it, I was happy. Which he does, because guess who the person whose the truck is broken down there is? That was a horrible sentence. Anyway, it's the fisherman. Lo and behold, she sees him, and she's like, oh my god, no, that's him. And the cop turns, he's like, huh? And obviously gets gutted. Because, again, you gotta kill the cop, right? But at least it was a useless cop, so it's kind of like, okay, whatever, you know. And he starts walking towards the vehicle, and I guess she uses some of her inner Slayer strength to kick out the cop window, because you can't open it from the back, right? Cop car. I mean, that's a criminal would just be like, take off. Anyway, she does that, and she crawls out and runs down the street, and she makes it to her sister's little shop there. And the guy's coming in on her, and she's like, Elsa, open up the fucking door. And she's like, what? Huh? Sister's kind of playing like nothing's wrong when she's clearly distressed. Gets halfway there, stops, pauses, turns around, walks slowly back, grabs a key. Helen is banging on this window like, let me the fuck in. I'm being chased. Lets her in. I'm calling the cops. You go make sure the back door is shut. Okay, fine. So Helen goes upstairs, is on the phone, and hears her sister scream. Guess what? Hookman got her. So sister's clearly dead. Then there's a whole chase scene as she sees him coming up the stairs. She climbs in the elevator, goes down, ends up going upstairs again somewhere, jumps out a window to escape him, and falls on the concrete. And yeah, I mean, in all honesty, when I first saw this, I thought, okay, well, this I guess is going to be our final girl. Like, maybe her and Jennifer Love Hewitt make it. Well, no. No, she don't make it. So she sees fireworks. She's like, okay, I run this way. She does everything right, honestly, in this movie, which makes the death sadder a little bit. She runs towards the people. There's like, she's literally in the alley where at the end of the alley you can see the marching band going past. She's shrouded in the darkness, obviously. It's really loud, so whatever. But she's like 2 meters away from where someone would be able to see her when she gets jumped. So there's like stacks of tires, and he's hiding behind one of the stacks of tires, and he grabs her and hooks her, and she's dead. Now, that's that. So obviously, while this is all going on, Julie's doesn't know that, you know, Barry and Helen are dead, obviously, but she's gonna go run to Ray, and she found out some new information that apparently this David Egan kid that they thought that they hit had actually committed suicide. So he killed himself by his own hands, because she had gone to Missy's again, and Missy had explained it, even left a suicide note and everything, but it was like the same handwriting as the "I know what you did last summer." Anyway, she finds out that the father of Egan's girlfriend, okay, I should just say Egan's girlfriend's father, killed David Egan, and as he was finishing dumping the body, when he walked across the street, that's who they hit. So they know who the fisherman actually is now, and this is confirmed later. So that's a thing. There's also this whole side thing of like Billy Blue, who was one of David Egan's buddies or whatever, and there's a little fake out moment where Julie sees Billy Blue on the side of the boat, and he's like, "Oh my god, you're the fucking fisherman," and to Ray, and he's clearly not, and he's like, "I can explain." As far as I know, I don't think they ever explain why his boat says Billy Blue. Maybe they did and I missed it somehow, but I think that was just kind of like a forgotten plot thread, unless he says something later about it. But I just watched it and I don't remember that, but maybe it's in one of the moments where I spaced out or something. I don't bloody know. I'm the best at these, aren't I? Like, boy, you're getting quality content right here. Anyway, that's pushed aside, and he's chasing her, and she thinks that he's still the dude, and he's chasing her down an alley like, wait, and some man like clotheslines him. He's like, "Quick, run to my boat, I'll deal with this." And it's like, "Oh my god, thank you, good Samaritan." I mean, I knew instantly, okay, that's obviously the fisherman, and lo and behold it is. So she goes on the boat and she gets into the cabin, and she sees all these newspaper cuttings and like things in association with this death from last summer, or well, from the David Egan thing and all that. So yeah, that's not good. And then she hears the boat moving, so he's pulling out of the dock area. Let's make this PG. So they're out in the open, well, not the open water, but they're out in the bay. They're not hooked up on land anymore. Ray comes to, and he sees this, and he jumps in a little motorboat, and he's chasing them, and he jumps onto the net and climbs onto the boat as she's trying to hide from this guy. She runs into like the storage area where they have ice for fish and whatnot, and there's a little fun scene where she gets to see Helen and Barry's bodies in the ice. That was good times. So yeah, there you go. Now she knows her friends are dead. Good times. She tries to escape, and he catches up to her, and he's about to like hook her when Ray is climbed onto the boat, and fisherman raises the hook about to slam her down, but it's caught in a rope, and he looks, and then Ray quickly pulls a lever that pulls the rope up, and lo and behold, our fisherman friend goes flying up, and his hand gets sliced off, like the hook hand gets sliced off where the winch part that pulls the whatever that's called. Is it called a winch? I don't know. Anyways, hand gets flown off, and then he like gets flung across into the ocean, and it's like, okay, cool. So that's dealt with. And everyone's happy, and so cut to they're back on the dock, and the police are investigating. They pull up the net, and there's the hook and the hand only on the net, so kind of alluding to the urban legend story from earlier. Speaking of which, urban legend, I should watch that next. Well, not next, but eventually. Anyway, sidetracked. We're almost done here. We're on the home stretch. Cops like, okay, that's fine, we'll find the body. We always do. Anyway, cut to later. She's back in her college campus, I guess. Julie, that is. She's back in the college campus in the shower, talking on the phone to Ray. They're reconciled and friends, and they're exchanging I love yous and everything sweet like that. And she goes into the shower, and there's a note. Someone says, "Someone brought you some mail." She's like, okay. Before going into the shower, I guess, because you got to get this, happening. She steps out of the shower, grabs the thing, opens it, and it's like, "I still know." It's like, oh shit. So she's freaking out, gets back into the room. There's like steam everywhere. She sees on a window, "I still know." And she's like, oh shit. And she's looking around all paranoid. And then blah, through the glass jumps the fisherman. So roll the credits. Is she dead? I don't know. I guess he got her. Well, no, because they made a sequel and she's in it. But anyway, and I don't think they ever addressed that that ending in the sequel. So whatever. I think it's just a little. I don't know if they intended to make it a franchise or not. Anyway, that's the thing. That's the story. That's I Know What You Did Last Summer. Yeah. So what did I think of it? It's fun. It's a 90s horror slasher type movie thing. Like you get what you get. It's good time all around. In all honesty, I think the 90s had a real feel to them for these kind of movies. Like they all kind of had that vibe. And I know you could say the same thing about the 2000s as well, but like I don't know. It's a good vibe. I like settings pre-2000s because you don't have things like a cell phone and that. You know what I mean? Like that's a thing that could solve a lot of these slasher things. You just got a phone on you all the time, right? But like anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, acting. They had a stacked cast, obviously, with the 4 names that I mentioned at the beginning of the movie. So everyone at the height of their career. Obviously, that was good. You got a good, decent soundtrack. Again, you're opening with Typo Negative. Like, come on, that's awesome. There were some goofy things. Like, there's one scene where when Barry's confronting Ray, when he thinks that Ray is the fisherman, and he's like, "You killed Max and you took my jacket." It's like, the scale of those two things, you know, like I wouldn't even mention the jacket at that point, but whatever. I mean, okay, to be fair, she found Max in her trunk with the crabs and all that, and he was wearing his jacket when she found him, but like, I don't know, it just seems silly, the line caught me off guard there. That was pretty good. Yeah, so I mean, overall though, it was fun. Like, it's a 90s slasher, like, and it's a classic. It's I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like, it's right up there with what else came out in that period of time. Man, I don't even know. I'm old and I lived through this stuff, but yeah, it was around like the same time as Scream and that, when Scream first came out. Obviously, Scream had a much more successful run of movies than I Know What You Did Last Summer. I think there were 3, right? I can't quite remember. I think there's 3, yeah, and then there's the remake coming out, so 4 total. But Scream has like 8 or 6, or I don't even know how many they have. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's that kind of a movie, essentially. A little bit less snarky and a little bit more serious tone, which I kind of appreciate for the most part. Yeah, so that's exactly what it is. There's no supernatural element. It's literally just a guy out for revenge for they hit him and they didn't see if he was okay. That seems to be the revenge plot. Yeah, I mean, breaking it down like that, I'm seeing there are obviously a few things that are kind of like, all right, you know, it's the 90s, but overall I had fun. So let's just cut to the rating because it's getting too long as usual. What am I going to rate I Know What You Did Last Summer 1997 version? I'm going to rate it a 6 1/4, 6.25. I think that's reasonable. Because it's fun, it's of its time for sure. It's not perfect, but it's competent. So 6.25 is good. It's a pass, not with flying colors, but a pretty solid pass. Should you check it out? Yeah, if you haven't seen it, absolutely. It's one of those like staples of the 90s horror era. Kind of like, you know, The Grudge and The Ring was a staple of the 2000s, you know. I would say this is one of the musts of the 90s. Right up there with Scream, even though it was not as successful of a series. I'm going to have to rewatch Scream because I don't remember if I liked this more than Scream or if I liked Scream more than this. I feel that I think I liked this more, but I don't know. We'll do Scream one day. Yeah, but we'll leave it at that. That's it. I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I still know apparently, so be careful. What was the third one? It was named something really ridiculous. Because the second one was I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. And then the third one was like, I'll always know what you did last summer or something. Meanwhile, it's like how many years later? So how many summers ago? Whatever. It doesn't matter at all. It's a movie franchise. Who cares? Anyway, that's it. Enjoy. Go watch it. It's fun if you haven't. And if you don't, well then okay, don't. Yeah, don't forget to unlike this video and unsubscribe. Take it easy. Bye.